Welcome back. Let's put this in the ether. You know what? Some people are really in terrible relationships and they don't even know it yet, right? Some people out there, when you, as an outside observer, right? When you're an outside observer and you start to analyze things, right? When you start to analyze people's behavior, people's relationship, people's answer, people respond to each other, you can come to the conclusion that most of the people out there who are in relationship are really in terrible relationships, right? They really don't like each other. They really hate each other. They talk back at each other. They badmouth each other, right? And they didn't even know it yet, right? And I question, and not question. I believe that sooner or later, or not sooner or later, most of these relationships, right, are not gonna work out. And unfortunately, a disproportionate amount of people who are in relationship, it's sad to say, but their relationship is not going to work out. Most of these relationships out there in modern time, they're going to fail. What does that tell you about modern day relationship? What does that tell you about if you get into a relationship? What does it tell me if I get into a relationship? It tells me most likely the person I choose that I thought would be a perfect mate will most likely will be a terrible choice. Will most likely be a terrible mate, right? So if this is the case, how's that convince me to be in a relationship with a woman? Right? Maybe it's me, maybe it's the women. In most of the cases that I've seen, that I analyzed, that I've observed, and I observe a lot of relationship. I know a lot of people who's in a relationship. I observe is that usually it's the woman who instigate all these problems. The woman who's raising all the concern. The woman who's push the button, right? Usually the woman is the one who initiate all these divorces, right? 80% of these relationships are usually initiated by the women, right? Which contribute to the misery, the misery of men out there, right? But the thing is, people don't learn how to observe it. People are very clueless of what the situation they're in. They're either in denial. They don't want to face the truth because the truth hurts, or they just brush it off like it's nothing. And they need an outside observer to tell them what it is, what you guys have a problem on. But the thing is, if I were to tell them, they can say, "Oh, I'm a rude guy. I don't know what I'm talking about." But the thing is, people need a third observer in their relationship to figure out where are they going wrong in the relationship. What are they doing wrong? Right? Without this, they're just clueless, right? They need a how do I say this? A second opinion. You know how when you go to a doctor's, one doctor's say you need a surgery, but you're not pretty sure, so you see a third opinion from another doctor, right? This is what people need. They're clueless. They're oblivious to their situation in right now. Most relationship, they're oblivious to the situation right now. They may not see it right now, but and if you add the little signs, it adds up. It really adds up. It connects to the dot. It's gonna lead later on in their relationship. It's not gonna work out, right? And this what guys must understand. Guys must learn how to understand, to link up signals, right? To make connections, to pick up signs to see how your relationship is. If you ever decide to be in a relationship with a woman, they need to figure out social cues from a woman. Most guys don't have that. Most guys lack that ability to pick out social cues from women, right? Because women put out the cues, whether she's happy, she's sad, she's combative, she's not in the right state of mind, she's insane. All these cues, right? I know it's a lot to learn. It's a lot to learn, but if you want a successful relationship with a woman, as a man, you need to learn these social cues. Unfortunately, men was never taught up about these kind of things. We were never not, right? Not all men know about games. There are a few men out there who know about game, who have game, who know how to talk to women, who know how to understand women, who know how women behave, right? This is why game is so, I wouldn't say crucial in a successful relationship, because it helps you out to understand your mate even more, right? So you won't make the same mistake as any other couples out there. right? But based on my observing, I'm an outside observer. That's what I am, and I seen a lot of cues, right? That most of these marriages are happening in modern day time, right? And previous marriage as well. There's a lot of cues that people are missing. If they would have understand these cues, they could have just saved their relationship or saved their time not being wasted in a hateful relationship. Because these people out there, they're stuck in this relationship and they can't get out, right? They can't get out, and this is the reason why a lot of men are trapped in marriages, right? They know they either know or they don't know that they're trapped in these marriages, and because of their ignorance or awareness, right, it is the contributor of their misery in life, right? They have nothing to drive for, right? They just come home, they ignore the wife. They come home to a sexist marriage, right? If you're in a sexist marriage, right, that's your cue to exit the door, bro. You're not supposed to be in that situation. If she's failed to offer you any satisfaction, as a woman, that's what a wife is for, right? That's your social cue to leave that situations. Whenever she talk back to you, that should be another indicator. Whenever she question you, that's another indicator, right? Whenever she's not listening, that's an indicator. Whenever she's losing or gaining weight, that's an indicator, right? That's an indicator that she's not taking things seriously. She's not committed to her diet, right? She's lazy. That's what it is. These stuff that you have to understand, right, is an indicator of a series of bad behaviors later on in life. If you don't resolve these indicators before you're later on in your relationship, it's gonna collapse. It's gonna go downhill from there, right? So that's what's wrong with most relationships. People or couples just fail to understand each other, right? And when you fail to understand each other, it leads to the devastation of the relationships, right? Women become unhappy. Women or men cheating on each other with other people, right? They fornicate with other people, right? All these stuff, right? If you don't pick up these things, right? This is why there are very few happily married couple. The very few happily married couple, they know how to understand each other. They know how to cater to each other's needs, right? Do you see? It's not like I see genuinely happy couples, right? That stayed married together, right, for a long time. I noticed this, right? Especially the older boomer that's still married today. They know how to pick up the social cue. They never raise their voice at each other. They know how to make each other happy, right? And I talk to a lot of senior citizens who are like this, right? But there are senior citizens who argue all the time because they didn't know how to pick up the social cues from each other, and they don't know what make them happy. They don't know, they're in the shouting contest. But there are senior citizens that's in genuinely happy relationship, right? So the point is, the reason why relationship is so much of a headache to be with or to make it work is because people lack of understanding each other, right? Lack of communication is primarily the number one I think of, right? I'm not saying what I think is the definitive answer. This is only based on my observations and based on my views, right? The one thing that's lacking in these relationships are communicating with each other. Basic communicating, like one person talk, one person listen, one person talk, is an even exchange. But no, people today, they don't have this capability of doing that. They always want the last answer, the last win, right? They always want the last words, right? All these stuff, but nobody want to listen. Nobody don't care. Like, dude, like men do not need the last word. If she want that last word, let her have it, right? Save you the trouble, save you the headache, right? That's why I do it every time a woman try to argue with me. I'm like, all right, man, I'm out of here. I'm not trying to argue with you. If you want it, you can have it. That's it. I'm not trying to argue with you. Like, all right, whatever. I just brush it out. I don't let it affect me. But that's what I noticed about how dynamic relationship can be, and it helps you as a person to observe other people's relationships, so you wouldn't have to go through the same mistakes. It's like an anecdote, right? A story. You observe what they're doing wrong, and you learn by their mistake. This is why a lot of women say, oh, somebody must have hurt you. No, somebody didn't hurt me. I learned from other people's mistakes. You learn from people's examples. If you fail to learn from people's examples, you fail as a human being. You're incapable of learning, right? So it's not necessarily somebody hurts me, right? Sometimes people could learn by just observing people, right? And that's how scientific is, right? That's like how the scientific method works. The scientists just observe how the situation is, you know? So basically, right, that's what I get of most relationship of why, how it failed, why did it fail. People just miscommunicate with each other. And, and, and it's most likely because of that, most likely most relationships are bound to fail, right? Are bound to fail. So if you think you do different, by all means go for it. But of all the people in society that behave like this, I don't know if I could go with it, right? I best take the best option and just hold back and take my time to be in a relationship with women. But that's just me. I don't know how you would handle it, but let me know if you agree with my inputs, right? If you like what I'm saying, like my content, I drop video daily. If you want to support my video, like, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me. And on that note, guys, peace and blessings.